either they would vote for the 702 FISA or they would get the CBDC through. And I'm like, what the F? Met someone who was into the whole private trust situation. And I had studied complex business trust before, where I was like, this is a great thing for my CEO. The cold wallet is perfectly private. You can have your cold wallet in trust. And then the way to navigate that is either if you were to transact with someone in the private with crypto, you could either give them your cold wallet with amount X of crypto and they just have it on there. So there's no, you can't track it.
Access to alternative tools like blockchain, you can become the bank.
I want the third win. I want, win for myself, win for the other, win for the planet. Not the time to wait for things to get better. You're responsible for your life.
All right, welcome to another episode. Thank you, Shanna. We have Shanna Faye today. She's incredible, was a previous student of mine, and I'm so happy to have her here. She has a combination of 30 plus years in accounting and business consulting, private portfolio management, private trust structures and trust writing, as well as naturopathic doctorate in alternative healing modalities, diet, nutrition, aquatic body work, and energy work. And I love this quote: whatever you desire to create or manifest requires your authentic expression and soul-aligned, fearless leadership. Oh, that's so well said, Shanna. Thank you so much. Whenever I first started to meet you and get to know you a little bit as my student, I was like, oh, cool, we got another accountant in the room. Somebody that has a brain like I do. So there's like immediate alignment in that way. But what I want to do with this episode is really just to get to know you better and help my audience know you, because you are one of the partnered solutions that we have for people that want to create trust or want to structure in the private sector. I want to ask you right off the bat, just to kind of give us a little breakdown of your journey to this point. Like, why accounting? What was your red pill moment? What was the moment that shifted you a little bit and you're like, okay, I got to do something a little different here? Because I remember my accounting mindset back then and the lockbox that we get when we do that work. But what was your journey? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I love the question. And I feel for me at times it's really challenging to answer that, because I feel the main part or the main theme of my life is change. And that what's basically life has put me in situations where I constantly had to start over or start from scratch or find new avenues or explore new things. And the accounting part was a bit of it has been like a red thread through everything, like something I could fall back on depending on the situation, because I'm good with numbers, I'm good with assessing things. And on the other hand, I would say I'm not the typical accountant, because if there are some rules to be bent, I'm happy to do that. Let's just say not rules to be bent, more like creative accounting, if that makes sense. It's like, can we have a little bit of spaciousness in this whole stuff? Does it actually make sense?
It's interpretation, right? It's like how we interpret.
It's kind of, generously interpreting. And for me, it's about if something doesn't make sense, I have a hard time abiding to that, no matter who says I should be doing something or shouldn't be doing something. And that's true not only for accounting. And so my own life story or my own personal evolution, navigating my own healing journey, or that kind of started me embarking on the whole naturopathic doctorate. Also, that's over 25 years now, homeopathy and all of that, any kind of trauma healing modalities, limiting beliefs, anything that kind of constricts or restricts people. And then at times it's been a combination of exploring, or basically some call it life coaching, but for me, finances and healing are not mutually exclusive. It's where money, finances is part of life, right? So there is this notion that money is this thing and it's a different energy, or it has nothing to do with us. And, more often than not, people find eventually that their approach to money or finances or stability, security is predominantly informed by how they felt being loved or not by their parents, so it's a very fascinating kind of correlation to explore. And yeah, and then I might have told you that already, but I was CFO on a couple of startups for a development project in Northern California. I'm usually in Southern California. And during this project, you know, met someone who was into the whole private trust situation. And I had studied business, like complex business trust before, where I was like, this is a great thing for my CEO, so I kind of looked into that already. And then the private trust took it like a step even further, where I was like, this is really sexy, so, and that's kind of what got me into the whole, okay, so private, what does that mean? How is it different from statutory? How do we implement this? What does it take? Is it just a paper? Like, no, you do want to be able to stand in it actually. What's the jurisdiction? All of that. So that got my interest for sure. And so I dove into that. And through this, I also became aware of the whole kind of status correction, state national freedom movement, people opting out of the matrix. What does it mean? Who is out there teaching this? Who is out there recommending it? What are they saying? Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? So there's like beyond private trust, there was the whole kind of common law community, getting back to the Republic. I'm talking here in the US. Meanwhile, I was co-creating a platform with someone out of Canada, and I am that particular organization's only trustee in the United States. So I'm basically some of the things I've offered also. So I'm also working with Canada, and we've been working with Australia also in this context for those interested in private trust. So it's not solely US. Yeah, that's basically it. So for me, what I love, and that's part of how I operate, is I love a lot of variety. Like, I love to know extensively about what is out there, what works, what doesn't work, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And for me, but also for my clients, just because something might not make sense to me might be perfectly fine for one of my clients. And I love knowing about variety so that I can best accommodate where people are at. So that's true in healing with all the modalities I've studied, as well as accounting, business consulting, structuring. I also love to actually restructure companies, like especially in our current times where more and more AI is coming in. Some of the hierarchical structures are redundant. They can no longer actually compete. Just financially, it's not financially viable to keep these structures going, and they lack flexibility and speed and adjustment. So that's also something I'm interested in. So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. The ability to pivot quickly or navigate the changes quickly. And I love that's how you started this whole thing, which is like, my journey is change. I love that. My goal on a daily basis is allowing my belief system. One of my goals is allowing my belief system to be challenged on the dots that I've connected so that I can grow those dots and connect more dots. And I love that you have both of those industries, accounting, tax preparation, like this law stuff, and this health journey that you went down and became this naturopath or doctorate, right? Your doctorate naturopath, are very similar in the sense that it's specific to the journey of the individual. Right? That's so important. And even I think it's such an interesting conversation, that specific conversation, because there's a lot of people in this freedom movement that have woken up to the medical system and are starting to question it because of what we're being introduced to in the mainstream narratives. But when it comes to tax preparation and doing all this other stuff in the monetary system, they're like, nope, got to pay my taxes, got to do it the way I've always done it. This is how it's supposed to be done. I don't want to go to jail. What would you say is the importance of the embodiment of this? I think it was really cool, that quote that you put there about the authentic expression and soul-aligned, fearless leadership. Why do you have that quote? Like, why is that important to you?
I feel my approach is on all levels holistic. As you mentioned, if we're taking health, naturopathic doctor homeopathy specifically is treating the person. It's not treating a symptom, right? And that's kind of the differentiation. If you go to a doctor, it's like, oh, you have a headache, take this pill. No one is asking why you're having headaches or migraines, or like, it started somewhere. You weren't born with them, but everything is treated as like kind of, oh yeah, nuisance, get rid of, don't question where it's coming from. And I feel like in all of my work, no matter what it is, if it's business structuring, trust, or whatever, I'm coming back to like, what is your foundation? Like, what are you moving out of? Like, what's the energy you're bringing? Like, what do you wish to create? What is that? And fearless as in, it's like, okay, why are you adhering to certain things? If you feel strongly about it, by all means, go do that. And just a question is like, what is behind that? What's the motivation? Is it fear? Or are you truly convinced of like, no, this is what I want to do, like because my heart is in it? It's like, great.
Ooh, it's such different energies. I love that you brought that clarity. It's like, am I running away from something out of fear, or am I running towards something to create, right? To express through. And I love that you are doing this, and I appreciate you becoming a trusted partner in the Academy, because the way that you present the information and guide people through their own journey of awareness is very unique, because I agree with you. I think it's so important to embody this. So if you're in the energy or the embodiment of running away out of fear, there's not going to be a lot of alignment and clarity of what it is that you need to do to help. It's like, oh, I don't know what you want. You just want to stop paying taxes? I have more questions. I have 50 questions to ask to figure out what is it that you're actually moving towards. One of the things that I talk about in the Academy a lot is the difference between ownership and stewardship, and the importance of, if you want to stand in your square when you create a trust for yourself, there's this importance of embodying stewardship. I just want to hear your thoughts on the differences and what you believe.
Interesting. I would actually love to know what your differentiation is between ownership and stewardship. When I hear you say this, the first thing for me comes with this is actually tied to land property, where people have this notion of my land, my property, blah, clans fighting over lands and whatnot. Where it's like, originally it's like God gave us the stewardship over this planet, period. We all have the stewardship over it. So there's also like a bigger picture, a meta view, responsibility of what we've actually been given. And then it's how have we been expressing this over the decades or years or eras we've been populating this particular jewel. Ownership and stewardship. Ownership for me comes with responsibility, like responsibility taking. Stewardship also has responsibility, and for me it has more of a, like for a community, for a common goal situation, versus ownership is like, this is me, like I'm owning this, it's my responsibility. Here I'm expressing responsibility for a bigger picture, let's just say, for something that I wish to create, like something that benefits not only me but others also. So it's, for me, my approach with everyone I work with also, and in terms of looking into contracts, is win-win-win. So I'm going beyond win-win. I want the third win. I want win for myself, win for the other, win for the planet, or for the bigger picture, right? So for me, it's a combination of ownership and stewardship, depending on what your definition is. I gave you mine, so you might have.
No, I love it. I might have put you right in the spot with that question. Because I have my own perspective, I want to hear yours, but it's in alignment with what you just said. I may say it a little differently, but I believe the exact same thing, where it's like, ownership is this, I think it's something that has been indoctrinated in us to be the extractor or the parasite, and to feed into the singular, the individual. And it's like, I own it. It's mine. This is mine. Possession, like this, not lawful possession, like, which is what we talk about, but I possess this mindset of possession where it's only yours. Whereas stewardship is taking responsibility of the whatever it is in this reality, but having the mindset of ownership that's for the community. Like you said, like how can I steward this in a way that's going to benefit the community and this planet and Earth? So yeah, I think it's just a different way of just perceiving things, especially when you're a trustee. That's why I think I created that clarity for myself, because I was like, man, if you're acting as a trustee and somebody comes up to you and says, is this your car? Is this your home? What are you supposed to say? I'm borrowing it. I'm just here. I'm just here borrowing it.
I do wish to add something though to your definition of ownership. And I might have interpreted it not correctly, but this kind of, there's nothing wrong with knowing your property. There's nothing wrong with knowing what you own. Nothing wrong with knowing you own your cold wallet or your car or your house or whatever, unless it's in trust. Then, of course, you don't personally own it. You still have a sense of property, though. And there's nothing wrong with having a sense of ownership, property in something, because you've brought your energy to it. So there is an investment, there's an energy exchange for you to having procured something. So it's not inherently wrong to own something or to be somewhat identified with property. And at the same time, like your demonstration felt more like a notion of entitlement. There is some kind of entitlement that's only for me. It's like, this is where it actually comes from a scarcity mindset. It's like, oh, I need to be safe. I need to hoard things. I can't be generous. I want it all for me. This kind of, there's a
Which
little
it creates an attachment and even an identity around it, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, I love
Yes.
that. That makes more sense to me. Yes, because it's a fine line. It's a very fine
Totally.
line that you have to
Very
walk.
fine line. And a lot of times people are not even aware of that. Yeah.
What would you say? We brought up the clarity of the importance of creating this through the full expression of your soul and the importance of being the creator. The reason for that is so that you know what to do, right? When you're helping an individual out and getting that clarity so that you know which direction they want to move towards and what they actually want to create. There's a lot of people out there teaching this kind of stuff, this private sector structuring and the different types of trusts that you can create. I've heard of spendthrift trust this and irrevocable that and common law this. So is there a end all be all trust that's good that everybody should pursue creating for themselves? Or is it really that specific where it's like, I can't even tell you what is best for you until I ask you 50 questions?
I would say I'm personally, the trust structure I create is predominantly similar. Let's just say it has like a very specific direction, let's just say. However, what the structure eventually looks like is always different because it depends on what are people having businesses, how do they wish to express themselves, are there any ramifications? And I believe I've mentioned to you recently also the whole aspect of the Panama Foundation or Panama business situation, which can be very attractive, especially with people with larger crypto assets, because we in the States, we have that restriction with the computation, like the taking out or transferring crypto into fiat, like the buying out into fiat, that is triggering a taxable event where, for example, in Panama, any international source income is tax free, like it's tax exempt from the get-go. So it's like, okay, cool, we're good, right? So you just transfer everything into Panama and you're good. Just a consideration. So it really depends on what people are looking for. What do they wish to create? Is it more like a legacy? Are they interested in creating a legacy? Is it something for their kids? Do they wish to not have to deal with probate?
So it goes, and then it gets into those details. I think I remember you telling me it was Panama Private Interest Foundation, right? Panama Private Interest
It's
Foundation?
Panama Foundation is what it's
or
called.
Panama Foundation? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just a specific type of structuring that the trust is residing out of Panama, I'm assuming. Something like that.
The trust is in Panama. Oh, like the foundation is in Panama.
Yeah, so it resides it's inside Panama. Gotcha.
Yeah. And so the differentiation between the foundation and a corporation, let's just say Panama Corporation, which is also can be a very interesting setup. And the same thing applies for international source income, is that it's tax-free, tax-exempt on the Panama side. So there's no taxation there. And you can hold, trade crypto. You can, on the foundation side, you can hold assets and bank accounts. But you, like in the foundation, you wouldn't be doing business, like you wouldn't be selling things or anything. So that's what the corporation would be for. Yeah. And both can be furthering if someone were interested in getting a Panama residency, for example, which is pretty low key maintenance, actually. Like Once you have it established, you only have to show up every 2 years for 2-3 days. It's ridiculous, basically. So I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just giving like a perspective. It's like whatever. I'm just giving options here.
Maybe I can ask you this question. I've had people ask me because we're now, one of the strategies that we use, one of the layers we added to that for extra protection is just to get a Palau ID. So Palau is a little island off the coast of, I forgot where it's at. It's in the middle of nowhere. But you can buy a residency card, a residency identification for that nation for like $280. What would you say is your perspective on that? Like when it comes to going to Panama, for example, and getting a citizenship or something there for tax avoidance?
My understanding was the Palau ID is basically to have kind of a way to circumnavigate the crypto fiat.
KYC. Yeah. The KYC process.
Yeah. Okay, so then do you have a bank account in Palau, or is it just like, it's just a regular ID, and then the on and off ramp for the platform, you can do crypto. So you can just exit and deposit with crypto, so you don't have to have a regular bank account. Yeah. Yeah, it depends on what you want to do. If that works with what, I believe there's also market now, which like once they have the debit card, that's also, from what it looks like to me right now, a pretty good way to be able to transact crypto to fiat without actually triggering a taxable event if you choose not to. So that's another way. And I believe someone in the community also even put another very small country out there where you can easily buy an ID or a passport or something like that.
I'm sure Malta probably or something like that.
I mean, there's like plenty of that out there. Yeah. I feel like for what resonates for me with Panama is it feels like it has a little more of a solidity, like you're actually having an entity there, not just a passport. And the reason why it came up for me recently, I've been dealing with this a few years back in a corporate situation, but more recently it came back into my awareness because a lot of people in the EU are looking for a way out, right? Because we have the UK already has the exit tax. Netherlands has been announcing it there. It's coming up for them in 2028. Some people in Europe are looking like, okay, what's going down here? What are we doing? Where are we? And in that context, it's become an attractive possibility.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that's happening now in a lot of ways. And yeah, I think I asked that question because just to have this awareness that we actually have the ability as physical, living, breathing men and women to get other ID cards. I always reference Trump selling the U.S. citizenship for $5 million. It's like, that's the same thing. Get a U.S. citizenship, you got $5 million, you can get it. $180 for Palau. Or I don't know how much Panama is. Do you know how much Panama is?
For the residency, you mean, like for a passport?
Is it for a passport or a residency, whichever?
Yeah, that's a bit more elaborate for sure. Like you would have to either create a company and or have an investment there, invest in property or something. So it definitely has more solidity to it for sure. Yeah, it's not just like I believe I mentioned with you Liberland also, right? You can also Liberland.
Yes, I remember that.
They also have residency, and they're big on crypto. Like they have their own coin and things. So there's more out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say slow Jamistan.
Oh my gosh!
The micronation.
You know what's funny is for me, I had a little bit as of a caveat there because when you look at the Constitution, it actually says you can't create another state within a state. So I'm like, interesting. So maybe something to look at, but it's like, great. Like, it's not if people want to do that. I've looked into that and have been interested in creating this, but
it's a whole thing. He was invited to the UN and apparently there's a lot of micronations in the US. There's like a handful, which is like way more than I expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a real thing. It's weird how it works, but that's a whole conversation. That might be a whole podcast in and of itself. Just talk about
for sure.
I am crypto guy. I talk about crypto. I love the blockchain space and utilizing it, using the technology. How have you helped anybody yet when it comes to when you're creating these trust structures and they are in crypto, like how that would look like with a trust? And I know a lot of this stuff and I'm trying to ask questions from someone that doesn't know so that those listening can learn. So if somebody's in crypto, they have crypto wallets, they want to create a trust for themselves. Do they have to get a bank account? Can they do it with just crypto? Are there already some tax avoidance strategies that you can do immediately with crypto when it comes to trust? Go ahead.
There's two considerations because the trust I'm creating are private trusts, right? So we always have to look at, okay, ideally we're only operating in the private. So how can you facilitate that, right? Because obviously, even if you have a private trust, it always depends on who your contract party is, right? If you're contracting with a public brokerage, let's just say, and you're saying yes to their contract, you're accepting their terms and conditions, which automatically puts you into their public realm, right? So crypto, you could argue anything Kraken, River, or other exchanges are obviously also public. They ask for your KYC and all of that. However, as long as you either have the crypto on these platforms, ideally, as you teach so well, on your cold wallet, rather, right? The cold wallet is perfectly private. You can have your cold wallet in trust. And then the way to navigate that is either if you were to transact with someone in the private with crypto, you could either give them your cold wallet with amount X of crypto, and they just have it on there. So there's no, you can't track it, right? Because you're basically giving cold wallet. So that's private. They are agreeing to that. You can show them how much is on that wallet. They're agreeing to the amount. You're exchanging whatever you're exchanging in your contract. That's one way to go about it, right? And then I provided a couple of links to the community also. I'm not sure, like I'm still not in US on Telegram, but one is Rocket Exchange. I'm happy to put them in a link here somewhere, like the two links,
Yes.
I'll provide them with you with via email, which are private exchanges. So then you would basically hook your cold wallet into that, and then the transaction on the back end, from my understanding, is private. I've not personally checked it out. You know, the other idea is then again the Panama Foundation, where you would just transact into your Panama account, and then it's a non-issue, right? And then you basically pay out of whatever you want to pay out of the Panama account. That could be a third option. Those are different.
Yeah. So what I heard you say is, yes, Panama is definitely an option. I think that's very viable, very viable option there for sure. But let's say you don't even want to create something like that, or crypto. Yeah, exactly. US is an option, of course, create a trust, but having a bank account, right? So is there an obligation for the bank account? Not necessarily. When we have access to alternative tools like blockchain, you can become the bank and you can store value in that and just make sure that wallet is owned by the trust and you're acting as the trustee of it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And one thing we add to as well when it comes to transferring to the trust account or to the trust wallet is doing something called mixing or tumbling the crypto.
Yeah.
And then it creates another, because AI is a thing that they're using right now and trying to connect our names to where our money's going. So there are ways to tumble and mix it. I would just recommend doing that with a trust. It just makes it easier. It's another layer of protection there for that mixing and tumbling.
For sure.
So I love this. Are there any specific tax avoidance strategies that you mentioned when it comes to crypto?
For one, I wouldn't call it tax avoidance. It's just knowing that you own it. It's like, I'm not avoiding any tax. I'm just clear what's my
Well,
profit.
I'm not saying evasion. Evasion. I just want to bring clarity to that. Hold on, let me bring clarity. There's a difference between evasion and avoidance. Okay. I say evasion is when you deliberately change the contract and it commits fraud, where avoidance is knowing the tax code and just performing in the negative space of that, using different law forms and structures that are acting and performing outside of the legislation. Just bringing that clarity. But yes, please call it whatever you want. I don't care.
No, I'm glad. It's like, for me, tax avoidance is still something like for some, it can feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Still edgy.
I should be. It's like I'm avoiding taxes. I'm a good citizen. I don't want to be perceived as a bad citizen avoiding taxes, because it's a big.
I love the IRS. The IRS is the best in the world. The AI is listening.
We love our IRS, of course. Actually, I've had conversations with really great IRS agents. I have to say that they're also human beings. Just as a side note, it's like, let's just be real here also. I think, like, from my perspective, especially in regards to crypto, the main point to consider for any kind of transacting with crypto is that the taxable event happens when they can track in the US that you're converting crypto to fiat. So that's the main point. So as long as, however you navigate around that, either to crypto or cold wallet to something or private exchange or Panama or what, like, there's no taxable event.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
That's 100% what I say to tell people. One of the things that I talk about in the coursework is the 1031 like-kind exchange. And I've had people in the past I've spoken to about this, and they're like, no, but crypto doesn't work because it's not real property. I did a little digging in 1031 just to figure out, like, I'm sure there's a loophole here somewhere. So there's a section there that talks about fixtures, and fixtures represent property that's not real property, but because it's fixated to the real property, it turns into real property. And so when you look at the technology itself, blockchain technology and the distributed ledger and the processing power in the server farms, and it's all backed by regenerative electricity, the majority, it's like 85% backed by regenerative electricity. It's like, oh, that's real property. These are real tangible properties that's attached to electricity that's attached to the earth. So it's like, yeah, the token is a fixture. It doesn't move outside of that fixed real property.
Great dig.
So 1031 like-kind exchange does work. Like you said, as long as you stay in the crypto space and you stay within the asset class there and not cash out, sell the crypto to go back to fiat, then you're not generating a taxable event, which causes, what do you call that? Capital gains tax. I couldn't remember the word.
Exactly.
Capital gains tax. So that's what we're trying to navigate, right? So when we use these strategies and these tools is to navigate I know you don't like the word, but the avoidance of that taxable event, right? Avoiding the actual taxable event itself.
My nervous system is getting used to your taxable event. All good. Like
exposure therapy.
One thing I wanted to, I don't know, it's just coming to me here right now. I'm just going to throw this in because I feel it's important and because I feel like I thought it wasn't immediately on the table right now. There was recently, like a few weeks back, there was a Congress bill where it was about the 702 FISA situation. And Thomas Massie had opposed it because they were still wanting the without warrant spying on the American people thing. And what came up in this bill, in this post around this, was that either they would vote for the 702 FISA or they would get the CBDC through. And I'm like, what the F? I thought we were like CBDC wasn't even on the table right now. And they're still trying to push it through in some kind of page 839 on a 1000 thing in the fine print, whatever. So where I'm like, what the F? So we can't overlook the possibility or neglect the possibility of that still being somewhat rammed down our throat.
I'm seeing it. Look, I don't know what you think about Trump. I don't know what anybody listening thinks about Trump, but I'm following his freaking actions. And this whole Trump account thing that came out. Have you seen this? Where if you can sign up your child when you file your taxes and you get, I think it's $1,000 per kid deposited into this Trump account that can grow over the years.
Right.
I wonder what that coin is. What's the engine behind that account? That's what my question is. Because that was my theory years ago. I was like, oh, they're with the CBDC thing. They're going to start with, here's $1,000.
Right, no, I hear you.
Literally said that.
I hear you. My hope has been, or my understanding, I don't know, hope, sense, that as long as David Sachs was involved, he is the guy who actually has like the common sense. If Trump listens to him, it's like, great, we have a chance to get around that. But the thing is, we don't know what Congress is doing. And that's the tricky part, because they're still trying to put whatever they want in all these bills, especially these super complex things where they're trying to get things through that they wouldn't be able to pass in single bill situations, right? That's the whole why the system is so screwed up.
That's an old play. You name the bill the Genius Act or something, right? Oh, it must be genius. And then they put all these things in there. That's
maybe 2 pages out of the 1,000 are genius. The rest, self-serving mechanism, whatever. I might be generous with 2 pages, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I just got to this point where all these narratives, it really is like a movie for me, where as long as I talk about this thing called staying liquid. And I think in the past it had to do with staying in cash, like how much cash do you have liquid? Mm-hmm. Now I think that means more like how quickly can you move your wealth if you need to? How quickly can you access your wealth without going through friction, policy friction?
Right.
So yeah, blockchain, when it comes to the CBDCs and all these bills they're pushing, I think it's so important that we find the alternatives, start creating an alternative ecosystem for ourselves so that we can stay liquid. Whether that's creating a trust and then layering that with crypto wallets in different countries, and then creating a separate layer of an LLC or a corporation for a business.
Right.
Whatever it is, whatever the structure is, I think the goal now is how can I stay the steward, right? How can I stay the steward and stay as liquid as possible with these assets that I'm stewarding?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I might have mentioned this with you before. I'm still also working with these guys on getting the decentralized private banking platform up that converts everything seamlessly at any kind of currency, any kind of crypto. So that would be ideal. We're 1 million euro short of getting this launched. So if anyone has a 1 million euro left to spare somewhere, contact me. So we get this up and running. That'd be great. But yeah, so that's definitely also still something I'm very interested in, because it's like with AI, it's going to be more and more of a challenge to circumnavigate the tracking, because the AI is going to be doing some of the things. So we can't neglect that. We can't.
What are your thoughts? Let me just a quick question on that. What are your thoughts on AI when it comes to this technology? Because you talk about extremes on perspective. You have people on one side going like, this is 1984. This is, they're going to take control. This is Terminator. We're walking to our end. And then you have the other side. The other side just wants to cut and go to the jungle and let go of all technology. So what's your perspective, Shanna?
I love this question. And I feel like with everything, like even being able to split an atom, it's like you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. It's like, what is the intention for someone to employ something like this? And is it in service to humanity, or is it intended to control or dominate? Or in some instances, are all the guardrails in check? Is it actually tested to be safe as much as you can test it to be safe or not? Or is it being hastily deployed to make money, to make profit? And who cares if it's safe or not? There's all kinds of considerations. And like something you said a moment ago also, with the times we're currently living in, like it can't be any more edgy than that. Like we're on in so much upheaval on so many levels, which of course creates a great opportunity for growth on the one hand. And then I find myself at times looking at, okay, where am I focusing my energy? Yes, I do want to be informed, but like there's so much gloom and doom out there where it's like, do I really want to put my nervous system through this like so many hours a day, or even sometimes minutes these days? Or how can I create something? How can I create something or be part of something that creates something that actually is a counterbalance to what is happening over here? Where I'm saying like, I'm very clear, I don't want this. And since we don't currently have the alternative, how can we move towards the alternative, or something that would be uplifting to create, or that we would want to bring our energy toward, versus being in this kind of, hey, we can't really do anything. Congress is bored. They are doing what they want. We can't even control our Congress, right? Like, it's okay. You can sink into the abyss of like resignation and powerlessness, or we can choose to, okay, what is it? What we want? Let's get together. Let's create it.
I agree. Passivity is not going to do it. We can't just sitting idly aside and waiting for these. It's like, oh, I don't want this. And then we just keep talking about the thing we don't want.
Exactly.
I feel like this
energy going
right?
That.
I feel like this whole movement has gotten sidetracked with exactly this situation where they're just talking about the thing we don't want and just stuck in that, giving that energy to that. And I would say that thing that you're talking about wants you to not want it. and wants you to talk about not wanting it as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like,
because it's like I've even observed that in myself at times where it's like, okay, now we have a platform, for example, like X, where you can say your opinion. Okay, great. But then it's the only thing I'm doing. And then it gives me some kind of validation. It's like, oh, I made a comment, like I'm against blah, 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 or I'm pro whatever. But like, what am I really doing about it? How does that translate into my everyday life activity? Like, how am I actually creating? How am I generating? I feel like it's still the same also, especially also in any financial considerations, the and or economical, considerations is like, where are we generating or consuming,
mm-hmm. Love that. That's a great reminder, guys. Be the creators and start using the technologies. Sitting aside passively, idly, not doing anything, that's not going to work, because there's just these individuals, this mindset is what I call it, is going to continue creating based on extraction. And so we have to create based on abundance and based on expression, or else we're not going to have another option. And I think it starts individually, starting on an individual level on what that looks like for you when it comes to clarity on what it is that you want to create, clarity on the technologies, going through the layers of the technologies or the law forms so that you can connect your dots and start creating yourself. I wanted to kind of like veer off into your the other side of you, which is the homeopathy side, right? The health side. And I constantly tell people, I say, there is no wealth without health. You need health to be able to pursue wealth and actually obtain wealth. I have my own perspective on it. I want to hear yours. Why would you say that's a true statement?
Maybe it's a good transit to this also. Health also is like mental, emotional health, right? And so even considering, as we've just spoken about, this whole being bogged down by what's going on, if you're kind of looking at what's going on in the world and this notion of helplessness, or like, how can I change anything? I can't do anything about it. So there's an energy behind it that basically doesn't allow you to connect to what your true expression is, or what comes with a lack of confidence of, being able to generate it, create it, right? So it's like everything feels too much, and it's like there's not even a thought about wanting to create or generate something for various reasons. And so what I love about holistic, I would say, alignment, like aligning your system, which is basically health, like an aligned system is in harmony and is in balance and health. That is the origin. And that's basically what Hahnemann said. Like, that's why he created homeopathy, because he says like a system without symptoms allows you to fully express what you came here for. If you're constantly dealing with headaches or whatever, stomach cramps or like chronic pains or whatever it may be, menstrual pains, eating issues, sleep issues, lack of energy, depression, whatever, how likely are you to be showing up at your fullest at work?
It's so simple, right? So, and I would say for those listening, it's probably easier said than done. I get it. It's like, stop being unhealthy and you'll make money. It really is that simple in a lot of ways. I agree with you. And it's so important to focus on those layers, because like, how can you create clarity for yourself? Okay, maybe I can ask this question. Would you say that then the opposite, if health is wealth, if wealth is health in this side, would you say that being unhealthy facilitates being the extraction, like the extractor, the one that's the parasite, the one that needs something to be dependent on because they can't create themselves?
Probably depends on the case by case, because some people will still kind of force themselves through anything, even if they're not feeling well. We have that too. So they are basically
harder, but it's not impossible.
Yes. Yeah, self-destructive to an extent that they would override actually their needs in order to, and I've been there, so I totally, I know that.
Oh yeah, pushing the override button. It's like, I got to push the override button for this one. Yeah.
Yes, you could say, of course, if you don't take care of your health, if you're impaired, if basically you need Medicare, or it creates a stressor on the social system, right? Let's not talk about the abuse that's been happening. It's like, okay, let's not go there. But let's just say normal, if just normally, right? Look at it like in a small example as like a tribe in the jungle, right? It's like usually you have every member contributing in some way, shape, or form. It's not even a conversation. It's like everyone contributes in their own way. And so if someone is ailing or sick, yes, the clan will support them or the tribe. However, if it's because of their own doing, it's like, how willing is the clan, how fair is this to the other members of the tribe to basically make yourself sick, to not be able to participate, right? At the end of the day, we're all part of a community, right? One way or the other. And like sometimes we don't even appreciate how many people have showed up for us on a day-to-day base, like the baker who baked your bread, or the butcher who prepared the meat for you, that we're just going and buying, blah, it's like, okay, supermarket. But like there's a lot of people who have brought their energy towards providing certain items that we take for granted to be finding in a supermarket. And there's just no conscious evaluation of what that takes, what that means, what's behind that. So like that's more the meta perspective, but it's like the energetically, it's for me, it's the same. It's community, big or small, it has to be as healthy as possible, or at least majority healthy, so that those who are healthy can support the ones who can't any longer. And like in natural life, that would be just the elderly, right? But even in a tribe, you can see the elderlies, they're going to participate as long as, until they drop dead, until they can't anymore. And then it's really only about kids. Like you're taking care of the kids, you raise them. But that's an investment in your future. So it's not, there's a natural toroidal field in a community, ideally. And we've undermined that purposefully in our communities, unfortunately.
So would you say that community is like very important to health then, is what you're saying?
Definitely also, yes, because I'm definitely more of a being by myself person. And at the same time, there's no question that we all need community to function.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
No one.
I saw the importance of it as much as I did in the last 5 years, because I saw the amount of money that they put into the mainstream narrative to do the exact opposite, to create division, to separate us, segregate us as much as 6 feet apart, all these things to create that distance. And I'm like, everything that for the last from 2020 until 2025, at least, I've been everything they say. I'm like, what's the opposite? What's the exact opposite that I'm supposed to be doing here? Right. Because of having those awareness when it comes to the health side of things.
Right. I mean, that's what I love about your work also, Otto, like for you to be creating community also with the courses you're doing, and also with the crypto, and having your community calls where people get to connect, like just outside of the topic, or like as an adjunct to the topic, which is super precious. Absolutely precious. So.
Yeah, I heard Catherine Austin Fitz at Confluence this past, I think it was April, and she said something really cool. And I took a picture of it, and she said the currency of the future is going to be relationships. So it's how we relate to each other, how we're transacting with each other, that is not using the medium of exchange, this thing we call currency or money. It's like those relationships are going to play into wealth building so heavily moving forward. I'm telling you guys, you really want to tap into the law of attraction and attract the medium, create relationships, re-internalize your own self-worth and value, create relationships, and then reflect back to others their self-worth and value. Talk about toroidalism. Oh, I love that.
Catherine Austin Fitch, she's great. I love that because she also has all aspects, right? She has a strong focus on the finances, but she also had she brought in homeopathy again, where I was like, oh, great, we got a revival. It's like so sweet. And she's also into the whole health thing and community building. So yeah, it's very resonates strongly. Like she's brilliant, great woman.
I often say that blockchain is more like a stepping stone towards a reality that we won't need it, where it's almost like a visual representation of what we have the capacity of doing with each other and transacting with each other and storing value internally with each other. What would you say is the future of doing business with all the changes you're seeing now and the importance of community building and sitting with integrity, the way that people are structuring now, the systems are changing to blockchain. What would you say is this new monetary system going to look like?
The one they're trying to impose on us, or the one that we ideally have?
Your vision that you want. So what is it that you see that you're being a part of these communities that are actually building stuff and the dots you've connected?
It's like, the thing is, like, I love a lot of freedoms. I want everything. Basically. I want small communities where there's organic growth and like an organic growing your own food from like that, raising your kids healthily. Don't have them indoctrinated by this current school, whatever is going on system. And on the other hand, I love to travel. I love to see the world. I love to transact globally. So, for me personally, at this timing, that's why I'm hoping this is coming through ASAP, would be a decentralized private banking platform that is on its own chain, basically, and that has the possibility to transact crypto to fiat, but without it triggering any monitoring, because it's on its own decentralized platform. So that would be ideal for me right now, so that you have full flexibility in terms of whatever currency, whatever crypto you want to trade. And it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in the States or if you're in Europe or if you're in Asia or wherever. So that would be ideal for me.
I love that. Yeah, I agree with you. It's just, and I think that's one example, but when it comes to staying decentralized, what freedom really means, I always go back to, am I liquid? Can I stay liquid with this? And so that's always in my mindset when I'm building systems, when I'm looking at strategies, when I'm looking at, also, it's not just how liquid I am, but also how is the energy flowing in the platform that I'm using?
Totally. Yeah.
Whether it's a strategy, whether it's a solution, like a utilization solution on something utility, whatever it is, the energy flowing back into the product itself, so that I'm not like being extracted from like parasites. So a combination of those two things, you start to go, okay, this is what freedom looks like. This is the dots that I've connected that, and then finding the solutions that fit that.
Totally. Yeah, the banking platform I was speaking of, like any transaction is within seconds. It's not 3 to 5 days wire transfer or something like that. It's like immediate, pretty immediate. And I don't know, Otto, if I mentioned or if we talked about this Arcium. Yannick Schrader, he's originally from Germany. He lives in the United States. He created Arcium, which is basically a encryption. It's placed in between, like a company has the data, routes it through this encryption thing, and then on the other end you can track it. And they are basically closely working with Solana. So Solana is actually using them. Happy to send you the link for you to check out.
How do you spell it? What was the spelling of that?
Arcium is like ARCIUM. I'm going to send you the X profile so you can check it out. Cool. I'll send you his X profiles.
Yeah, for those listening, part of the reason why I created this community selfishly is to have many eyes out there. And I think that it worked out because everybody's more interdependent now and self-accountable and everybody's helping each other. But I love it. Whenever there's these solutions, I'm like, bring it to me. I want to review it. I want to see how it fits in my perspective, my vision of what I want.
Right? Yeah, you never know. And like for some in your community who are, depending on what kind of businesses they're running, might be attractive to check out what they're offering.
Yeah, love that. So tell me a little bit about what it is that you offer. I know that you are helping people create trusts in the private sector. You're also doing a little bit of hand-holding with that when it comes to teaching them how to become the trustee. Right. So talk a little bit about that and what other offers you have.
Yeah, basically to start with me, I would usually be like a strategy session, 90 minutes. That is $350. And we're basically looking at what do you wish to create? What's your current situation? Where are you headed? What is your vision, kind of thing? That is one thing if we're looking into the financial situation, private trust, business structures, anything in that regard. And then for if there's some uncertainty or something, if there's a desire for more like mental emotional support or also coaching in that direction, that can be supported by homeopathy if desired. But there's also like might be a good idea to look at my health here. I'm not quite as in balance as I would like to be. There are packages. You can find them on my website, shannafaye.com. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Anything more where it's more bespoke, more like, hey, I have this business, I don't know quite what to do with it, restructuring, looking at that, that would be like a separate conversation, obviously, also. Yeah.
Love that. And your website again is shannafaye.com. So SHANNAFAEY. ShannaFaye.com.
No, Y-E.
Wow, I'm so sorry. FAYE. I knew that. I don't know why I said that. I think I had a thought and then the words came out wrong. I love it. Like we mentioned earlier, having conversations like this on a weekly basis, it changes the conversation. It's like, what kind of conversation are you currently surrounding yourself with? In my opinion, is going to only facilitate the perspective you've already created for yourself. So we talk about change and having your belief systems challenged on a daily basis. Join our academy and have these conversations. Have these topics of conversations that are different, that are not part of your normal surroundings. And eventually you get that confidence. You get that confidence to actually move into that and actually do the steps. We can't just sit there and talk about all the things that we were trying to avoid. We got to talk about the things we want to create. So doing that, you get connected to and aligned with, if you don't want to do it yourself, with the partners like Shanna, be able to do it for you and get you that extra hand holding. I appreciate you so much, Shanna. I really do. I think that what you are doing is incredible. I'm always here to support those that are building bridges and creating paths and solutions. I've been meaning to ask you this, but is there anything that I can do more to support you? Is there anything that I can offer to support you, whether it's in the academy, whether it's something that I can do on social? I really want people to see the solutions that you are bringing.
It's so sweet of you. We really appreciate you also and all the work you're doing, Otto. And we've known each other for a few years now. So it's really lovely. Yeah, I believe part of this is also that we will have an IG.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to do an IG live. We're going to get you back into our Friday live. So for sure.
Yeah. So whenever you feel like I love doing Q&As, people are interested on the subject, happy to be available for the community whenever it suits you. Yeah. Love that as a co-creation for sure.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So if you guys want to get more questions answered that you have after listening to this podcast, if you want to in real time be able to see those answers and also ask questions that are probably more for the private sector side. There's a lot of things that we don't talk about in the public because it's private stuff. And we want to make sure that we're only talking about the private in the private, keep it private. So if you want to come to the Friday lives, make sure you check out the session that we have. You just got to sign up for the free academy access on WAP, and you get that access on Friday lives to be able to join us. Thank you so much, Shanna. I really appreciate you so much. You're a shining light in this crazy reality right now. And you can see it whenever people that are watching on YouTube, they can see the smile you have and just the light that you're shining. So if there's one last thing that you can leave everyone with, you have 2 minutes, you're in front of 1 million people, okay, and you have 2 minutes to leave them with something, what would you say?
It's not the time to wait for things to get better. You're responsible for your life.
Love it. I love it. Yes, this is the time. This is the time, guys. Got to start taking action. Thank you, Shanna, so much. Really appreciate you. You guys check out the captions below on the notes, the show notes. I'll make sure to put the link for her website there and ways to contact Shanna if you want to work with her. And then if there's any other links, I'm sure I'll put in there. I think Rocket Exchange was one that you mentioned that we'll put in the
yeah.
as well.
I'll send you the links, all the links that I mentioned.
Perfect.
So
I appreciate that.
If people have a Telegram account or it's like WhatsApp or something, it always is also good for me to have that. If you want to reach out, then. And if you reach out, please mention Otto that you heard. Yeah. You heard about me through Otto, his community. That'd be appreciated. Thank you so much.
Great. All right. Thank you all for listening. And last but not least, always remember, gamify your abundance. Have fun. There it is. You remember. Of course. All right. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Bye.
Bye.